They were all watching, cameras ready, a single handshake, refused. No one knew that one silent moment would erase $2.4 billion by sunrise. And when she woke up, her world was already gone. Before we begin, subscribe to Black Inside 2.0, where powerful stories reveal hidden truths, silent strength, and moments that change lives forever. The room where power spoke without words. The boardroom sat 40 stories above the city, wrapped in glass and quiet authority. Every chair was filled, every breath felt measured. Executives in tailored suits lined the long polished table, their expressions carefully neutral, their eyes sharp with expectation. Behind them stood assistants, advisors, and silent observers holding phones discreetly at chest level, ready to capture history if it happened. This was not just another meeting. This was the announcement of a new era. At exactly 9 a.m., the doors opened. All heads turned. He walked in calmly. No entourage. No arrogance. No rush. Just presence. Elijah Grant, the newly appointed CEO of Ardent Global Holdings, a man whose rise had been swift, quiet, and impossible to ignore. His tailored charcoal suit fit perfectly, his posture steady, his expression composed but unreadable. Some in the room admired him, some questioned him, some feared him, and one person had already decided she would never respect him. Across the table stood Victoria Hale. She was power in red, a billion-dollar portfolio manager, a legend in elite finance circles, a woman who had built her reputation on control, precision, and never being challenged. She adjusted her posture as Elijah approached, lips pressed into a polite but distant line. The board chairman cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "today marks a historic transition for Ardent Global. Please welcome our new chief executive officer." Polite applause filled the room. Elijah nodded respectfully, then stepped forward. One by one, he greeted board members. Firm handshake, direct eye contact, quiet confidence. Then he reached Victoria. He extended his hand. The room stilled, cameras tilted, time stretched. Victoria glanced at his hand, not with confusion but decision. Slowly, deliberately, she raised her palm. "Not to shake, to stop. I prefer to keep things professional," she said coolly. Gasps were swallowed whole, phones captured everything. Elijah's hand remained extended for a fraction of a second longer. Then he withdrew it. He smiled, calm, controlled, almost gentle. "Of course," he replied. No tension in his voice. No anger, just acceptance. But something shifted in the room. Not loudly, not visibly, but deeply. The meeting continued. Charts were presented, strategies discussed, numbers debated. Victoria spoke often, confidently, sharply, making sure her authority was felt. Elijah listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, it was concise, measured, unimpeachable. He never mentioned the moment, never addressed the refusal. Yet some executives noticed something unsettling. He remembered everything, every contract reference, every investment tie, every subsidiary name. Victoria didn't notice. She was too focused on dominance. When the meeting adjourned, she gathered her documents briskly. As she passed Elijah, she paused. "You'll learn," she said quietly. "This world doesn't reward sentiment." Elijah met her gaze. "This world rewards foresight," he replied. She scoffed softly and walked away. That evening, Victoria attended a private investor gala overlooking the river. Laughter, crystal glasses, champagne confidence. She told the story casually. The new CEO tried to make a statement, she said with a smirk. I shut it down. Some laughed, some looked uncomfortable. One older man said nothing, only stared into his glass. At 2:17 a.m., Victoria's phone buzzed. Then buzzed again, then didn't stop. She frowned, irritation rising. By the time she answered, her assistant was breathless. "Victoria, we have a situation." She sat up. "What kind of situation?" "The portfolio," he said. "All of it, every position." She frowned deeper. "Speak clearly." "It's being liquidated." Her heart skipped. "That's impossible. It's legal," he whispered. "Every clause, every trigger, all activated." Victoria swung her legs out of bed. "By who?" There was a pause, then a name. Elijah Grant. Silence swallowed the room. Her city view blinked back at her, bright, indifferent, endless. And for the first time in 20 years, Victoria Hale felt something unfamiliar. Not anger, not disbelief, fear. The sun had not yet risen, but Victoria Hale's world was already collapsing. She stood barefoot in her penthouse, city lights flickering beneath her like a mocking constellation. Her phone lay pressed to her ear, knuckles white, breath shallow. "Say it again," she demanded. On the other end, her legal director spoke carefully, as if every word might shatter glass. "The liquidation is irreversible. It was executed through layered entities, all tied back to dormant clauses you signed over the last 12 years. Victoria's mind raced. "That doesn't make sense," she snapped. "I review every document." "Yes," he replied quietly, "but you didn't control them." Her reflection stared back from the floor-to-ceiling window, immaculate even now, but something behind her eyes had changed. "Who authorized this?" she asked. There was a pause. "Technically," he said, "you did." Across the city, Elijah Grant sat alone in his office. No celebration, no champagne, no phone calls, just quiet. A single lamp illuminated a stack of folders spread neatly across his desk. Each one represented a decision Victoria had once made without hesitation. He opened the top file. Hale Capital, Strategic Liquidity Trigger, Section 14B. He remembered the meeting where it had been signed. 12 years ago, different room, different power balance. Victoria had been younger then, sharper, surrounded by men who underestimated her. She had dismantled them one by one, building an empire fueled by speed and certainty. And Elijah, back then, he hadn't been visible. He had been useful, a consultant, a silent architect, the man hired to clean structures. She never learned his name. She never needed to, until now. Flashback, 12 years earlier. "You're very good," Victoria had said, scanning his report. "You see risks others miss." Elijah had nodded. "That's my role." She smirked. "Stay in your lane, and you'll go far." He had smiled politely, and stayed quiet, because he knew something Victoria didn't. Empires built on speed often ignore foundations. And when foundations shift, everything moves. Back to present, at 6:42 a.m., Victoria's driver pulled up outside Ardent Global's headquarters. She hadn't slept. Her makeup was flawless, but exhaustion sat heavy on her shoulders as she stepped into the building where less than 24 hours ago, she had felt untouchable. The receptionist looked up, startled. "Elijah Grant is expecting you," she said. That surprised her. She was escorted to the executive floor. The doors opened. Elijah stood by the window, hands clasped behind his back. He turned slowly. "Good morning, Victoria." She didn't sit. "What did you do?" she demanded. Elijah gestured calmly to a chair. "Please." She remained standing. "You dismantled everything I built," she said. Over a gesture, Elijah's eyes held hers, steady, unoffended. "No," he replied softly. "I activated what already existed." She scoffed. "This is retaliation. This is structure," he corrected. He walked to the desk and opened a folder, sliding it toward her. "Do you recognize this?" Her eyes scanned the page. Her signature stared back at her. She swallowed. "These were safeguards," she said. "Contingencies." "Yes," Elijah said, "designed to protect investors from unchecked authority." Her voice dropped. "You planned this." "I prepared for it," he said. "There's a difference." Silence stretched. Finally, she asked the question she feared most. "Why now?" Elijah looked at her, really looked. "Because yesterday," he said, "you made a choice." Her jaw tightened. "A handshake," she said bitterly. "A moment," Elijah corrected. "That revealed a pattern." She laughed once, hollow. "You're telling me respect moves markets." Elijah stepped closer, voice calm but firm. "Disrespect exposes risk." He paused. "You didn't refuse my hand," he continued. "You dismissed accountability. And your empire was built on people you never thought would matter." Her shoulders slumped, just slightly. For the first time, Victoria Hale looked human. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. Elijah slid another document forward. "A chance," he said. She looked up sharply. "You wiped me out and you're offering mercy." "I'm offering balance," he replied. "You still have knowledge, influence, experience." She studied him. "And what do you get?" Elijah didn't hesitate. "A partner who understands that power without respect always collapses." Tears burned behind her eyes, not from loss of money, but from something deeper. "Regret." She exhaled slowly. "I misjudged you." "Yes," Elijah said. "You did." She extended her hand. This time, it trembled. Elijah looked at it, paused, then took it. Firm, equal, human, soft resolution. Weeks later, headlines told a different story. Not of collapse, but transformation. Victoria Hale returned to the financial world, quieter, wiser. Elijah Grant led Ardent Global into its most ethical and profitable era. And somewhere inside a glass tower, a lesson echoed silently. Power is not announced, it is revealed, and sometimes, it begins with a hand you choose to ignore. If this story moved you, challenged you, or opened your eyes, subscribe to Black Inside 2.0, where every story uncovers hidden truths, quiet strength, and moments that redefine destiny.